Hello, welcome to another video, and today I'm going to be drawing based on songs again. Did really well and I really enjoyed doing it last time I did it, so I decided to draw some songs again. And the first one I've been seeing on like TikTok and like the shorts a lot, and it's this song called Devil in Disguise. It's really catchy and I really like it and it's really cool. So I decided to do one based on that. The lyric specifically I was going to do is, you think the devil has horns, well so did I, but something, he wears a suit and tie. So I wanted to do that, so you gotta do horns, because the devil has horns. So I drew horns, and I wanted it to just look like a demon, so I did a couple of like demon things, like fangs and like pointy ears, but like I don't think it really looked like a demon, but it does for all intents and purposes, so it's fine. And then on the other side, I did just like this normal guy. So like blonde hair, blue eyes, suit, obviously, suit and tie. And it was pretty basic. I sketched it in my notebook and then I imported it in, and this time I did record it on, like, record the sketching process, but I lost it because my iPad has no storage, so I was like deleting things so I could like record, and I deleted the wrong thing because, you know, such is my luck. So I decided to do pretty thick line art. I wanted it to be pretty simple because I was planning on doing like 3, and I didn't want too much footage for me to edit because I'm really bad at cutting stuff out. So I just did pretty thick line art and then pretty simple, and then I went on to the coloring. And so for the coloring, I wanted to do I wanted to do grays, reds, and like golds, because that, I mean, come on, it's the devil. So I did like black skin, like actually black, and to do black you kind of have to do gray, so you can add shadows and then highlights to make it actually look black. So I did this pretty dark gray for the skin, and then after that I did some of the other stuff. And then I did some of the other colorings, and yeah. I did this dull red, but I didn't really like it, so I switched it to a lighter one for the like armor. And I just basically did everything else red and gold. The mask is gold and everything else is some sort of shade of red. I really like this song. I think it's like, you know, bad things can come from the most unexpected places, and it really reminds me of Macbeth. So in the story of Macbeth, this is very off topic, but in the story of Macbeth, you got his wife, and basically his wife is like the power hungry one, and he's like, no, I don't really want to do it, but I'm gonna do it anyway, because like she manipulates him into doing it. Like killing the king and doing all this horrible stuff. And when I was studying the play, my teacher was like, she once was directing this play and it was of Macbeth, and they were like, or somebody around her was, and she was like, they made Lady Macbeth this very, very beautiful character, and they were like, hey, and then they showed Macbeth and they were like, hey, who's the villain? And everyone pointed at Macbeth. And then they switched the design, like the costumes and stuff, so that she was uglier. Or not uglier, but like less physically pleasing. And everyone was like, oh yeah, definitely Lady Macbeth. Like, obviously she does all this stuff. And obviously Lady Macbeth is the like bad person. She's the manipulator, she's abusive, she's horrible, and she literally manipulates someone into killing multiple other people and into starting a war. But I just thought that was really interesting because, like, you can't judge a book by its cover, because like sometimes the worst people can look great, and it's like the devil won't always look like what you expect him to do. So yeah, I thought I wanted to go with that duality, so that's kind of what I did. Anyway, so that's that first drawing, and then on to the next one. This one I decided to do Icarus from, I think you pronounce it like Bastille. I've been really into this song, and I really like its message about like pride and stuff. And basically one of the lyrics is like, Icarus flew too close to the sun. We all know the story, but I'm gonna tell it anyway, because like I've learned that some people haven't heard certain stories that you have, because everyone's exposed to different things. Basically, Icarus and his father, I don't remember his father's name, were trapped in a tower because Icarus's father was a very, very good Greek inventor, and some king wanted him to invent stuff, and he wanted to be free, and he also had his son there. So he invented these wings made of wax and feathers, and they used them to fly out the window of the super tall tower. And Icarus is like, yay, we're all free, and he flies way too close to the sun, or like Helios, or the sun, and it gets way too hot. And since it gets too hot, all the wax melts and he falls into the ocean and drowns. And it's like, I feel like it's a very good metaphor for the pride comes before the fall. And so I wanted to illustrate that with this drawing. So I drew Icarus, obviously. He's way too close to the sun, so I wanted to make the sun really, really, really big. I don't know if you can hear it, but my cat is going haywire on this box that I have on my floor. Cats and boxes, am I right? So I drew out the sun and I made it really big, and then I went in and I decided to do a very silhouette type thing, but I also wanted some colors to be there, which I'll show you how I did that when it comes up. But I mainly made it a silhouette, so I traced it all around and I filled it in with the center, and then I started on the next part. As I'm coloring it in, I decided to color it in by hand just because I thought it would look a lot more textured and cool. So that's what I decided to do. Like, because I was using the gouache brush and I wanted it to look pretty textured, so I just colored it all in by hand. I think it's really interesting how the different songs that I chose, the different songs that I've chose have all like these hidden meanings. So like the first one is like, don't judge a book by its cover. This one is like, pride comes before the fall. And the next one is like kind of about love, like falling for the wrong person, I think. I don't know, that's how my brother explained it to me, because he introduced me to this next song. So when I was drawing it, I decided to keep the sketch on the outside just so you have a little bit more definition. And then I used a color, like the color that's like a skin color for where the highlights on his skin would be, and then like a white color where like his clothing is and the wings are, just to like give it a little bit more dimension and form to it, so it isn't just a straight up silhouette. And then I erased some of the guidelines that I put in the sketch, so it's just kind of vaguely there. And then I went in and I did the background. A lot of the pictures that I looked up for inspiration were very orange tony, and with the sun right there, it makes sense. It's kind of like a sunset, sunset vibes. So that's what I went with for the background, and then I added in some clouds to keep it more textured and like more detailed background, because I like doing simple backgrounds that look detailed. I do my best. I don't know if it always works out. And then I finished off the painting, the drawing, painting. I'm kind of painting, I guess. with some just finishing touches, and then I was done. And then for the last one, I'm doing a Reno Dakota, and I didn't hear about this song until I asked my brother what I should do, because we were watching The Last of Us when I was drawing this. It was the very first episode, and I was like, what should I draw? What song? And he was like, you should do Reno Dakota. And he looks it up, and I listened to it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this one. I don't understand it, but I'm gonna try. And he's like, okay. So I think it's about like some like seductress who lots of like, I don't know how I wish I could explain with the exact words that he used, but like somebody there like smoking and drinking and like seducing people. So that's what I went with. I didn't want to draw a person, and then like the person who wrote the song is like in love with her. So it's a story about love, or like, yeah, basically. So I drew basically like somebody holding a cigarette, but like just the hand, because I was watching a TV show while I was drawing this, because yeah. And then I don't know if it went the best. I really like the hand that was drawn, but I do think it could have been a little bit better, but like a space in between like where she's holding the cigarette. But yeah, I went in with thinner line art, more of my usual type of thing and stuff. I sketched this one out too in my sketchbook, and then I also drew like alcohol pouring down onto the hand, because I thought it would make for some cool composition. So that's what I did, and then I started coloring, and the coloring was a little bit rough, just because I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do. When I first saw the song, I was like, red, because that was the background on Spotify. So I was like, okay, the background's gonna be red, that's cool. But when I looked at the actual art, like the cover art, it was like white, black with only a little bit of red. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I should have done white or black. Anyway, so I went in and with the coloring, and I wanted it to be a more dark sort of brown alcohol instead of a clear one, because then it would just look like water, and that wasn't really what I was going for. So I colored it all in, and I was trying to think about, what does water even look like? Not water, liquids. Like, what is liquid? How do you make it look like liquid? And I don't think I did a bad job, but I don't think I did a great one either. But I am glad that I used like a paintbrush, because then you could kind of see the skin underneath the drink. So I think that was the right decision. And then I had to look up which side was brown on a cigarette, because I don't smoke, because I'm a tiny young person who doesn't want to have health issues and breathing issues. Anyway, so I actually forgot to record. Like, it stopped recording, and then I forgot to record because I was watching a TV show, and it was very interesting, and I've binge watched to season 2 at this point. So this is the Procreate version of it, and this is what it ended with. I went with, it's kind of pretty traditional for what I draw, but I think it looks really cool. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of all 3 of the drawings, and I'll see you in the next video.